Well, hello ladies and gentlemen. You join me from an underground car park in Mexico City. We are here for my race, obviously, but before any of that kicks off, someone has very kindly lent me this, which is a Valiant Super Bee, and we're going to do a short review on it. I'm going to go into some of the nicer areas of Mexico City, Polanco, Roma, that kind of thing. It's got quite a complicated history, this car, so I'll explain a bit more while I'm driving for the car nerds amongst you. But yeah, that's fantastic. It's a Mexico-specific muscle car, basically. It's essentially a Dodge/Plymouth. The original ones were based on a Coronet. This is already going to become nerdy, but this over here was branded by Chrysler as the Valiant. So it's called a Valiant Super Bee, and has a 5.9 litre V8. I'm told it's very loud. They're also pretty quick, but this was like the sort of baby muscle car. So I think it was about early 70s, the Chrysler wanted something to replace the Plymouth Barracuda in Mexico, but they essentially didn't have the money. So they came up with this as well, which is based, as I said, on a Duster, the Plymouth Duster. And yeah, it's a very unique car. You can only get them in Mexico. So I don't know how many they made. I need to Google that. So first impressions, they are probably the skinniest front tyres I've ever seen. It's obviously, the owner obviously has set it up for, I don't know if he takes it drag racing, I need to ask him, but it's a very drag racing sort of setup. This is particularly cool, the rev counter. Yeah, the rev counter is here. I don't know how many cars had that, not a huge amount, but that's quite unique, obviously. And as I said, I mean, the interior is in fantastic nick. The owner's had it since 2003. I just want to hear it now, like, I want to start it. So the car is magically turned around because I didn't trust myself to do a 3-point turn in this car park with the owner watching, so I let him do it. But let's get going. So pull this one up and then there we go. So here we are. I'm gonna have to shout, it's very loud in here and I'm being strangled by the seatbelt, but this is a very cool thing to try. Immediately, only done 300 metres. But it's just all noise. Noise is just everything, the Formula E driver said. Where's second? I can't find any gears. There we go. Found it. Yeah, the gearbox is not fantastic, to be brutally honest. Fucking hell, this thing's ridiculous. I mean, it's not the most relaxing place to drive a car like this before. I haven't driven many cars like this. I've driven an old Dodge for about 3 minutes. But yeah, like right in the middle of Mexico City, which is known for, you know, let's say not the best driving standards in the world. Steering. It backfires and makes all the right noises. No. No. Has it got no synchromesh? No, it doesn't have a synchromesh, I don't think. Can I go this way?
No.
No?
No. We can
fuck.
Break the law a little bit. Go here.
This is telling me to go this way.
Okay.
Look, that's telling me to go that way. So I've done about half a kilometre and managed to quite badly break the law. But we'll gloss over that. I'm blaming Waze. It did tell me to go there. I can't see anything in the mirror at all. God, it is like, you have to focus. It makes you realise how good like modern cars are at just being a car. Like every hire car that you get in, if it's, you know, within a few years old or even 10 years old, you just cruise along. Here, the amount of corrections I'm having to make because the steering is just awful, but it's just part of obviously driving and having a car like this. Yeah, this is quite a stressful place to drive this car.
No, driving here really sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. The brakes they are spongy, is how I would describe them. Yeah, they work-ish. Lovely Momo steering wheel. Look at that. What wood is that, do we think? Mahogany or something. It's very pretty. Very nice to hold. It looks like the newest item on the car, I would say. So, some of you viewers will have seen my Sao Paulo vid. The plan for this season is to sort of get involved in car culture specific to whatever country we're in. So Mexico edition is driving this. And as I said earlier, a very Mexico specific car. And yeah, hopefully this will become a series throughout the year, hoping to provide some entertainment. I think it's fair to say that the title for this video already should be, I drove a great car in the worst place possible. Because I can't drive it properly at all. And I'm sweating a little bit, if I'm brutally honest. I'm a little bit nervous. I've got the owner of it in my gearbox behind me, so I'm having to be on best behaviour, which is boring. No, to be fair, someone else's car, I wouldn't drive it like a knobhead anyway, but a very cool thing to be in. And it all works. Touch wood, there's some wood there, and I was touching wood anyway. It's very cool though, very unique thing. So this is now my, I believe, 6th or 7th time in Mexico City. I should really know where I'm going without Waze, but obviously off the back of... Get in a second, you fucking... She's in. Sao Paulo obviously was great until turn 1, where I got defreezed and got given a puncture. So Mexico's been a bit of a funny one for me though. Oh look, we're in Liverpool now. That's interesting. I don't remember going across the Atlantic, but anyway. Oh, police. Yeah, Mexico's always been a bit of a tricky one for me. Like, I feel like I've had a lot of misfortune here, to be honest. Like, last year, for example, in qualifying, first year in our more competitive car, on my second push lap, the Grassy crashed in front of me in one of the chicanes, and one of the barriers actually came off into the track, and then I hit it. So I obviously lost my lap, so that was good. But also last year, I don't think we as a team at this point really understood the car that we have too well. Certainly not as well as we do now, and me as a driver as well. I'm far more confident in this car now, so hoping for a bit of a better weekend with a bit more fortune. I think the Porsches are going to be very, very competitive, so we shall see. Mexico City and this event as a whole, it's probably one of my, the highlights of the calendar for me, because the people are great, especially the motorsport fans. They just love it, you know, and they're very polite to me. They're very respectful of you know, the athletes and everything, and the track itself actually goes, I mean, a lot of you will have seen it, but it goes to a stadium and there's 40-odd thousand people in it. It's one of Formula E's, I think, if not Formula E's most viewed event of the year as well, so there's a very good atmosphere here. Would I own this car? I would own something very similar. What I would own is a Charger, a 1970 or a 69 Charger. This was sort of like the baby version of that, essentially, is how I think of this car and the Super Bees in general. But this one actually, so in the mid-70s, in the oil crisis in the US, the Super Bees at the time there were actually quite a lot slower because of all the oil bullshitty, regulation-y things that were going on. So this was actually quite a lot faster than the American one, than the Chargers and everything else being built at the time. Driving position is actually surprisingly good. The pedals are sort of in the right place, which is very odd. Steering's in almost the perfect position. The seat's nice. You get in cars like this and normally the pedals are sort of in somebody else's car in the other lane, you know, and the steering wheel's in your lap, or, you know, your bolt upright like that. I have to say, I mean, I've obviously been driving it for about half an hour now. I've calmed down a bit, but it's still more stressful than lining up to start a Formula E race, that's for sure. It's not easy driving this thing. I have to say, it kind of reminds me of a car I drove in South Africa on the trip that I was there. There's a Ford Capri, but it was called, I can't remember what it was bloody called now, but it was only 600 of them built, and they were specific to South Africa. That's kind of what this thing is. It was a Piranha, that's it. Kind of similar to this thing, only specific to this country, sort of built because Chrysler Mexico couldn't afford to build the new generation, which was Cuda, I believe. It's honestly the history of the cars around this time, it gets so confusing. I'm actually going to compare it, which I don't think will ever been done in history, and maybe will never be done again. I'm actually going to kind of compare this to like an A45 AMG. So what I mean by that is this is like the 1970s Charger is the A45. This is like an A35. It's like, it's not quite the A45. It looks kind of similar, muscle car-ish, but it's not the A45, it's the A35. Oh, what a machine. Great little thing. Try not to get killed. We'll take that man's door off. So there we go. That was short and sweet. I would have liked to have driven it not in the middle of a city, but it is a cool thing, isn't it? It is cool. So there we are, ladies and gentlemen, the Valiant Super Bee. As I said many times in that video, a bit of a gem. Enjoyed it. I'd like to do more driving of it. But now it's time for some tacos, I think.